Just, a day in the life of a landscaper. A day in the life of Buck, Tommy, Pete, and Melvin, which were slash are Powell's Landscaping. Hello, thank you for tuning in to the Landscaping Diaries, the recap. It's Raglan from Next Generation Landscaping. There are 4 people that I base my characters after, which I call the founders. There were others, that came down the road. You know who you are. We'll reveal those in season 2. You know who you are. But we'll reveal those in season 2. But there are the founders. They are the ones that helped shape me to the person that you see today. These 4, really meant everything to me. Which was my father, Buck, who was boss. My Uncle Tommy, who was Butchie. My father's good friend and foreman, Pete, which I call him Pruning Pete, who was Alfred, and my Uncle Melvin, my aunt's boyfriend, who played Ray. Every one of them played a major part in my life, and it all came through landscaping. And I was just, grateful for the times that we had, me going out there, being with them, being able to observe, being able to see certain things that went on. But when I actually got out there physically going on and working, yeah, I saw that, which I already saw, but some new things did occur. That was just the nature of the way it was, you know what I mean? Or the way it still is. But in season 1, they got caught out in the rain. Boss and Alfred got caught out in the rain. So Alfred was trying to go home early, but Boss was trying to stick around. But in the midst of it, Boss figured out that he couldn't read. Alfred couldn't read. So that's why he looked at him the way he did, and he instantly knew he had to figure something out about this. You know what I mean? He had to try to figure out how to make it work. So in episode 2, Alfred literally tried to make an excuse, of his illiteracy, why he was doing the side job, or however it may be. He was like, this is the house you saying, and this and that. But in the mix of it, he throws Ray under the bus, which Ray didn't appreciate. You know what I mean? So that, but Boss knew that, yeah, he can't read, but he knows numbers. Because he instantly said, this number 9 right here, he knew numbers, but he just couldn't read. That's why he asked him what did it say. Let him know you can't pull a fast one over on me, man. But hey, go ahead and finish. And then once you finish, I'm going to go ahead and collect this bread. You be in your feelings all you want to. It really don't matter. So in episode 3, we just get caught up in the whole hustle and bustle, when we're dealing with everyday life, we're dealing with our kids, marriages, jobs, everything else in between. We just always on a set agenda, a set accord, whereas though we just forget to have fun. You know what I mean? We just forget to take us time out and just let loose. And one thing I learned about, this and during that pandemic, we just, had or still got going on or whatever. We have to take time out to reset. And the pandemic for me was reset. Sit still, sit down, look at my life, and make some changes. You know what I mean? So, whereas though I'm always going, my kids had to go somewhere. Me and my wife, we wanted to do something. We was always on the go. We was always going, and it was always excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse why stuff wasn't getting done, because we were just always constantly on the go. Whereas though we literally had to sit still. And by us sitting still, we were able to focus on and put things in perspective of, we need to reset sometimes to have fun. You know what I mean? We need to, yes, you know, everything has to be on the straight and narrow. We have to, you know, have schedules. We have to have everything on the straight and narrow. But sometimes things just have to be spontaneous. Sometimes things, you know, we just have to set aside time for ourselves. You know, so that's what it was. You know, they saw the music and they went and they just let loose during lunch. They just let loose during lunch. And it'd be like that sometimes, you know what I mean? And literally on the job, it would go like that, you know? So it is what it is. But in episode 4, they got pulled over by the police. Alfred and Ray got pulled over by the police. And Ray didn't forget how he got thrown under the bus in episode 2, you know, when they got caught doing the side job. So whether, you know, Ray had warrants on that or he had some things going on, he knew that, hey, you know, this is my chance to get back. So I'm going to get ghosts on your ass and you deal with this. You know what I mean? Oh, you forgot your ID? Oh, hey, it ain't my problem. I'm about to get ghosts on you. So now, you know what was good. You know what I mean? So that leads to, you know, episode 5 when, you know, they had the job and Alfred knew he had the job to do, but he got in his feelings and just didn't come to work the next day. You know what I mean? So he didn't come to work the next day and left Ray and Boss, you know, hanging, and literally had to try to scrounge around to find somebody to try to fill in for the day, which leads to episode 6 where they brought Butchie out there. Now Butchie. You know, Ray knew off the bat that he was a live wire, that he was going to be a problem, and that, you know, if he didn't do something, you know, he wasn't going to get the respect. So he had to stamp it automatically and let him know, you going to respect my OGness. You the youngster, I'm the OG. You going to respect, you know, what's going on. You going to respect me out here. Because if he didn't, you know, little youngin was just going to run all over him. You know what I mean? So, which they went ahead, they got it out. They, you know, he picked with him and he pried with him and this and that. And then one thing led to another, you know, but you know now. So that leads to episode 7, whereas though, you know, after that, you know, incident, episode 6, that, you know, he had to take a sabbatical. Ray had to take a sabbatical. So Alfred came back out, and Alfred trying to figure out what had happened and this and that. So he showed him the black eye and this and that. So they get to working, and what happens? Customers forget to clean their yard after their dog shits in the yard. You know, excuse my language, but it is what it is. And he was weed whacking and stuff splattered on his face. Alfred wind up stepping in it and this and that, or however it may be. Butchie cleans it off his face and leaves the job site. You know what I mean? So they looking around trying to figure out where he at, which leads to episode 8, where they're looking for him and wind up finding him at the bus stop. He's so wrapped up in his emotions. He's so pissed off and mad that he's not even thinking straight. You know what I mean? So, which, you know, he's ramping and raving at the bus stop and trying to get people to see his point of view and this and that, which, you know, Boss and, you know, Alfred knew his point of view. That's why, you know, Alfred say, hey, come on, man, I got it on my shoe, man, and this and that, But he was so livid because he had it in his face. Which, you know, everybody, you know, who it has happened to knows that that is one of the worst feelings when you weed whacking and that poop hit your face, boy. You ready to explode on any and everybody that come in your way. But, that's when Alfred just came and was just like, you know what, the buses is not even running. So what are you sitting here for? Which leads you to believe that he's been working on his reading because he was able to read the bus sign. Boss and Alfred was getting to it, whereas though he was able to read the bus sign and tell Butchie, hey, the buses is not even working. Whereas though on episode 1, he wasn't even able to read the list. So they was working on it. You know what I mean? So So that's when, he got in the, he got in the truck. Alfred tried to, lighten it up a little bit, which, but you just wasn't having it. You know what I mean? So, which leads to episode 9. They get to the yard, they get ready to start working. Boss runs into a snake. Customer sees it, Halltail's in the house. He goes to show it to Alfred. Alfred passes out. He passes out, find out he's scared of snakes, his pressure went up, he just passed out. You know what I mean? Whizzed on himself and everything. You know what I mean? So they, he goes to the customer, he shows the customer the snake and this and that. The customer is not coming out. He's like, do whatever you're gonna do, but just get it out of here. You know what I mean? So, which leads to, episode 10, where as though they're trying to get Alfred to wake up, and then he comes to, but then, once he finds out that, they're going to split his pay because he's still on the ground and this and that, however it may be, they was going to split his pay for the day. So, he looked and was like, nah, I'm not having that at all. You know what I mean? So he got up, went and started pulling the bush, pulling weeds, and then turned around, Butchie saw it, didn't like it. Mr. Petty LaBelle went and got the snake, out the woods and made him pass out again. So, he could, get his pay for that day. You know what I mean? Boss frustrated. Boss just, just has enough and just put his hands on the truck. And then Butchie realizes, he sees the car coming down the street and he sees Ray and instantly gets his act together. Which leads you to believe the way Ray did it worked, because Butchie just instantly pulled his pants up, shut up, and that was that. And what happens after that comes in season 2. So I hope you enjoyed it. I tried to tie everything in together to make it, like a storyline or however it may be, but it was my first time doing it. I enjoyed doing it, but for the second season, I'm able to really focus and write what I'm doing and this and that, and I getting with a couple people, don't want to name any names because it's not etched in stone yet, to help me write it out and get it out there and stuff like that. Okay, so that was the recap of season 1, and don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, Next Generation Landscaping, whereas though we have all the episodes from Landscaping Diaries, plus the recap will be on there. Plus I have Landscape Like a Pro how-to videos on there, where we're showing you how to do the trenching, cutting the grass. Whereas though we will show you amongst other things like certain plants that's out there, giving you backdrops on how to prune, and just anything that has to do with lawn maintenance and landscaping, it'll be on there. Okay, and I'm working on some other things that will be coming out very soon, and I hope you enjoy that, but I don't want to talk too much about that until I get that finalized, or have it may be. Okay, so please look at my YouTube channel, subscribe, give it a big thumbs up, leave a comment. I very much appreciate everyone's support, and I look forward to you all watching season 2. Hopefully I can bring a bigger and better content to you, so it will bring everything to bring everything to light. Okay, everything was nothing fictional. Everything is real life experience. Season 2 is going to be even a little realer. As I'm writing it out, I'm like, Lord Jesus, can I put this out on social media? Let me think about this. Let me get a screening before I throw this out there, But yeah, but it'll be good, just a day in the life of a landscaper. A day in the life of Buck, Tommy, Pete, and Melvin, which were /are Powells Landscaping. Yes, they were Powells Landscaping and slash are Powells Landscaping. And in season 2, we'll go into how, or maybe further down, you transition on how it became Next Generation. Okay, so this is Raglan coming from Next Generation Landscaping. Keep persevering by any means necessary. And until the next time, see ya.